Wow, that goes live like instantly. I should have ultra low latency, but I didn't expect it to start right away. Usually I have like a big thing that says go live now, but it didn't. It didn't this time. I think I can just leave it on stream health and that should be good. Just gotta make sure my screen's actually loading. I should chuck a bit of text somewhere and just... I think I can do that. Give me a sec. I'll chuck a bit of text in there because this is just going to be a chill stream. And it's like... if you talk. And then if I grab that... oh, God. It's been so long since I've used OBS. If I just put that down there, move that up a bit, transition that across. Yeah, that shouldn't get too much in the way of things. And then I shouldn't really need to look at my second screen at all. As far as I've checked, this song, like this track that I'm using, doesn't violate any YouTube copyright. I've had issues before where it just violates YouTube copyright. Some of the stuff, even though it's got like streamer friendly in the title. So I'm getting a warning that my bitrate is horribly low. So anyway, welcome guys. I figured, because I'm just screwing around with Unity, I know RPG Maker Unite is coming out soon, and even though it's probably not going to look like this, there is going to be some things with RPG Maker Unite that'll have sort of crossovers with Unity. So when I went to university, I studied using the Unreal Engine and the Unity engine, and it's been a while since I've used Unity, so I'm just jumping right back into it to try and familiarize myself with it. I've got some stuff up, like I've been doing a bit of like UI design, so I'm gonna try and just incorporate that here. Before I started the stream, I was sorry, that music's a bit too loud for me. Give me one sec. I'll turn that down for me. Hopefully it's not too low for you. I feel like there's another thing I was supposed to be keeping track of. I've got no idea. Anyway, yeah, so at the moment I'm just trying to get buttons working. So just before I started the stream, I had... I got this working, so I can click over here, but I can't click back yet, so... I'm just going to do that. I'll get that working, so I'll just save everything. Rule of thumb when working with like more powerful engines, I know like sometimes you have to do this with RPG Maker, but when you're working with like more powerful engines like Unity and Unreal, a good rule of thumb is to make sure you're constantly saving. So you just make like Control S or Shift S? Control S. You just make Control S like a habit in the background. But I'll just load that up. So that should be good there. So if I just load onto my different scene. One thing I did learn, right, is you see how I'm moving this button here? Watch what happens when I hit play, right? Oh, I can click the whole thing. Well, what was happening earlier was that because this little thing here wasn't exact in line with the button, the actual button wasn't working. But I'll just go through essentially how it all works. So I've got your basic, like using the different libraries up here. And then I've got just a public class, which I've called scene change. And this is the function that I'm going to call upon to change between different scenes. So, because essentially what I want to do is, I'll save that. I've got two screens. I've got like my home screen and I've got my chapters screen, and I want to be able to swap between them. And so to be able to do that in my script, it's essentially creating this new function, move to scene into just scene ID. So integer's just a number, and scene ID is like, if you're used to using RPG Maker, scene ID is like map ID. So if we come over into file, build settings, you'll see I've got scenes home, scenes chapters, and you can see the ID is 0 and then the ID is 1. So that's essentially how that script works. So I'm calling whenever I click the button to change scenes. So how that works in the game is if I just click on this button over here, on click, I've got it to run that script, and then it changes to scene 1, which is the other one. I am doing an absolutely god-awful job at explaining this, but because usually when I make tutorials, I edit the fuck out of those videos. Recently made an analog horror web series. That's cool. Sauce Boy, I keep forgetting your age. Are you coming into your final years of high school now, or you've finished school? I apologize, I do just keep forgetting. I don't forget you, I just forget details. So let's let's fix this other button, right? So if I swap over to the scene, chapters, can I, no, I don't want to, it's the actual button that I want to reduce the size of. Oh, yuck. No, I just want to reduce the size of the button. Why can't I do that? Rectangle transform. Where is it? Surely it's... I'm not sure what the -4 means at all. Anyway, let's get to it. I've got to... What have I got to do? On the button, I need to drag... No. What I need to do is I need to add an on-click and then drag the canvas. But does my canvas have the code? It doesn't. So I need to drag the script onto the canvas. And then drag the canvas onto the button. There we go. Scene change, move to scene integer 0, which should now work if I run it. Alright, there we go. I'm changing scenes with a click of a button. Sweet. Alright, what I'll do is, I've got this like mock-up here of just like some quick designs I've done, so let me just try and import that into Unity. I forget how to import images, hopefully it's not a big deal. File export. Export PNG. I need to go to Crookbank. No, where is this all stored? Scenes, Crookbank assets. I apologize, that is my dog in the background. He likes to bark a lot. Scotch! Scotch! Mate, come on. None of that. If he keeps barking, I'll go and... if he keeps barking, I'll go and have a go at him. But... new folder, I'll just call this... BG. Template background. Template BG. And I'll just call this home. So now, hopefully, if I go into Unity, I should have in my art assets folder down here. And I do. So if I go to my scenes, home, I should just be able to drag should just be able to drag that in, yeah? Yes. Cheers from Brazil. Thank you, Leo. Love your videos. It's good when people love my videos because it means that I'm doing a good job. Is this in my canvas? Where is... So is this just called home? It is. I should have... I'm going to actually rename that to BG Home. I'll rename that if I can too. So that way I can line it up with the camera. I actually don't need such a big folder space. What's my camera? That's my camera. So I need it to line up with the camera. As best as I can. How is that looking? Just wanted to say I'm an idol. Thank you. I don't really aspire to idol status, but as long as the things that I do within my videos can help people out. And then can I reduce the size? No, I don't want to reduce the size of that. I want to reduce the size of that. Why are the... I don't want the button itself to be so big, so can I just do that? And then with the actual button, reduce the size of that. No, because that reduces the size of the text. Why? I am missing something here. Rotation, scale. Scale should just be 1:1, but it's not. And I can't, for the life of me, figure out how to make this button smaller. I know you don't mean like I'm an actual idol, like, what is that K-pop band? BTS? Those guys are the idols. I'm not really a great freaking idol if I can't figure out how to reduce the size of this thing. Is it the image I need to lower the size of? It's beyond me. Because like it's got to be something to do with the margins. But if I try and lower the whole thing, it lowers the text as well, which I don't want. Could I temporarily take the text out? I think I've solved it, guys. I temporarily take the text out, then I reduce the size of this, and then I put the text in. Yeah, it was... That's why it was doing it, because the text over here in the corner was parented to the button. So I just had to... I just had to screw around with it for a bit. Just had to make myself a weird workaround. So, will that work? If I just play it, will this load? I don't like that. Alright, so what's going on with that then? Is it because of the camera? I don't like the fact that it does that. I mean, it's not like really a workaround, it's just I should have recognized that that it's all like parented. Like, because the text was inside the button, I should have recognized that it was a parent. Now what I've got to figure out is why, even though it lines up like here, why it's not lining up on the canvas. Do I have to reduce the size of the canvas? What if I take the main camera out of the canvas? It'll probably give me the same result. It will. But now that the main camera is outside of the canvas, can I reduce the canvas? Where is the... Alright, what if instead of that, I get BG Home, I raise the size of BG Home to the canvas. Ah, that's what it was. Because even though it's got a camera, the camera's not doing its fucking job or something. So now if I do this, I should be able to just resize this chapters button. What is the main camera showing? So the main camera's... If I bring that back in the canvas. Alright, what if I change the size of the main camera? Alright, let's move all of that. Let's just change the size of this button. And it's gonna work. Sort of. There's something wrong with my camera. But that's fine, because I can just reduce the camera size. Lower it down a bit. Let's reduce the camera size by a bit, and then it sort of works. I just need to lift this, raise this up a bit. Raise this up a bit. Scotch, come on, bro. Scotch, mate, you don't need to be doing this. I understand you get annoyed when there are cars driving past, but it's not their fault. Close enough. That's close enough, right? That button's close enough. So now if I play, press play, I've got a chapters button there. Click on that, it takes me to the next screen. Like, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to lay down a foundation. I'm trying to prototype my shit. So now if we go over, get the next one. Because of course I'm going to go 1 pixel over. How'd you go, Scotch? Did you get him? Did you get him? Did you fight him? File, save as... No, export as... Thanks for providing the RPG Maker tutorials. Yeah, I mean, I've been using RPG Maker for, like, over a decade, over 10 years. So, I was still in high school when I was using RPG Maker. I'm not going to tell you how long it's been since I've been in high school, but... I've been using it for over a decade. This will be BG chapters. And then I should just be able to control save this, move over to my chapters scene. I just realized my face is getting in the way of a bunch of UI, so what I'm going to do is just raise me up a bit, just so you can see some of the UI. Because it's probably important to know if, like, if you're sort of watching. Alright, now, this camera, I need to try and match it to the canvas. Which is apparently a fucking job in and of itself. There will be a way, and I'll just have to research it. And look, when Unite comes out, it probably won't have this, because it's a toolkit built on top of Unity, so it'll probably already have, like, the quality of life assurances. But if I then do this, put BG chapters there, raise the size of BG chapters. And then that, why can't I move around? And that should be close enough. Now we can do that same trick we did before, where we take the text out of the button. We'll change this button over here to be this size. Move the text back into the button. And I should be able to lower the font size. So let's just make that 15. Back. Now if we hit OK and save, everything should be... okay. We have a problem. Can anyone guess what it is? Because I can't. Alright, what's going on here? Why... What have I done in one scene that I haven't done in another? Is this a dating sim? No, it's just an idea for like a... sort of like a gacha, but not really gacha. Like, you unlock characters and you play through their stories and that sort of stuff. Definitely not like a gacha. I hate like the random loot box element of gachas. I also hate the fact that I've done something fucky with my camera. Like, where is it? So like essentially... Like, obviously, you got your main screen, you can do your story, you can do PvE or PvP. In PvP, you put together a team and you fight other teams. In PvE, you can go on a raid where you select a character, or you can fight waves of enemies. But, like, yeah, it's just like a basic outline of an idea. What the balls is with this camera? What is with this camera? Alright, can I just 1-to-1 this camera? Attach it to the canvas. Okay. This is silly. What? What the why? Let's see how this works. I mean, it works. I just had to make the camera 50 billion times the size of the freaking... Like, look at this shit. The camera is massive. Now, why is that? Oh, what was the 3D view? There it is. That's just incredibly odd. The way the camera's working like that. Oh, fuck, I forgot how to... That's how you do that. You know, I'm just going to delete that camera because that's scuffed. And obviously the scene's not going to play without a camera. So I'm just going to make a new camera. Now that should be in the proper 3D space. Sort of. And I think I'm just gonna have to mess around with the button. Like I did with the other scene. That way a bit more and that way a bit more. So now I should have it all working. So I think I'm probably good to just set up all the other buttons. So let's just head over back to the original scene. Let's just keep on going with it, I guess. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to raise that up. But that's not the biggest issue in the world. Then I reckon I can just duplicate this. Like that. Button PvP. I'm just gonna have to raise them both up a bit. Give them a bit of a color. make a folder in here? Surely there's a better way to organize my UI. I mean, I've got a UI canvas, background, event system, which I've got no idea what it does. So I guess, yeah, all the buttons in my canvas. Button, button, button. Should probably have my background attached to the canvas, but I'm not going to touch that yet. What scenes do I have? I could probably make this scene next. Save as, no, export as PNG, save as BG PVE. Right. And then I'll just save this. Save scene as PVE. Alright. Build settings. Add open scene. PVE is assigned a value of 2. And I should, if I just save this. Let's just copy that and paste it in here. I've got the canvas, the camera, and the button. I can get rid of the button because I don't need it. And bring in the background, which will be... Actually, I do need the button. But I still do need to bring in the PVE background, which is minuscule. In fact, I could just, like, what's this returning me? This is returning me a scale. 130, 130, 130. Does the camera have the same sort of thing? What's its scale? No, it's just 111. But I'm not importing these as 111s, so I guess that's that. Does it need to be part of that? And then if I just load that in, there we go. And does the canvas have the script? Yes, it does. So I should then just be able to save this, go back to my home scene, and on PVE, add a new function, drag canvas, function, scene change, move to scene 2. And this should work. So chapters goes here and I can go back. PVE goes to here and I can go back. Ooh, I can't go back. So let's have a look at that. Move to scene 0. It's because this little back button hasn't been done, I think. No, so something about this back button isn't working. That's got the scene on it. Button. Let's just try this for the fucking sake of it. Canvas, scene change, move to scene, integer 0. Control save and test it out. Something you're very proud of, you can actually make a game with RPG Maker, and you can solve a Rubik's Pyraminx in under a minute. What is a Rubik's Pyraminx? Is it like a Rubik's Cube and I'm just basic? So is that just like... Is that like these ones here? Like the pyramid ones? Is that the one you can solve? Alright, there is something about this button which doesn't want to fucking work. So I just need to figure out how to get that to work then. So you back, ate lunch. Probably a good idea. Did I have breakfast? I did. I did have breakfast. It was like 8 in the morning, but I did have breakfast. Sometimes I forget to eat, which is not a good thing, but it's a thing. I just forget to eat sometimes. Happy Amero. What is Amero? Well, I Google searched and it said, did you mean to search for happy emo? Yes, I did. What are we getting when I search for happy emo? That's what happened. I searched for happy Amero and it comes back with, yeah, did you mean happy emo? Yeah, I guess they're happy. Is that Logan Paul? It is. It's got to be something to do with this button. As to why it's not working. I'm just going to delete the button all to fucking together. Actually, where's the canvas? Oh, no, it shouldn't matter because the button was in the right place. Alright, so I'm just going to make a new button inside the canvas, right? So if I go UI, button, I'm just going to, yeah, make a button, move it over here, take the text out, reduce the size of the button, not the text. Bring the text back in. Back, reduce that. I believe I reduced it to 15 last time. And then come back down here, add a function. What I'll do is I'm just going to drag this onto the canvas again. It's got it twice. What I'll do, I'm just going to remove the component and then drag it back on. Go back to the button, drag the canvas back over, and then run the function. Which will be move to scene integer 0, which is correct. Control S. I'll double check my build order. Home characters PvE. Home is 0. Why does this fucking button not work? Is it because I gotta bring this over? Oh, this is annoying. This is the exact same issue I was having before I started the stream, and I wanted to get the stream started before I do anything. What have I done differently in every other scene? I've got canvas, camera button. I've got canvas, camera button. So what have I got in PvE? Do I need to put the camera up here? If that's it. No, so why isn't it flubberducking working? Save, push. This is really shitting me. On click, scene change, move to scene 0. Because that's the thing, right? I've got it. Let's go back to my home scene, right? If I play it from my home scene, click PvE, it takes me straight here. But that's not taking me back. You know what? I'm just gonna come over here. I'm gonna delete this freaking button. And I'm just gonna test something, right? I'm gonna copy this button for chapters. Paste it over here. Where's the fucking button? Ah, it's got to be in the canvas. And then run the canvas on it, run a function, and I'll change it to integer 1, like it's supposed to be. It's just buttons that aren't working. This annoys me. Do I have to have it above the camera? So what am I doing in every other scene that I'm not doing here? Alright, I've got my main camera. I guess I've got my main camera at the very top, right? Then after the main character, I've got the canvas. The canvas which has the scene change script in it. Graphic raycaster, canvas scaler. Alright, let's have a look here. Graphic canvas scaler. It's got the scene change script. Alright. Now in home, inside the canvas, I've got the button for chapters. Runtime only, on click, canvas, move to scene 1. And then if I go to PvE, I'm just gonna, do I need to drag the script onto it again? I don't know. Scene change 1, move to scene. Fuck this script. Remove this component. Alright, well I know my buttons work over there. What other scenes do I have that I can just import into the game? That is if I click on Raid, alright? So let's Raid Shadow Legends this. BG raid. And then I'll just make a new scene. So I'll just save this right now. Is it because I created an empty scene? Whereas this one has a renderer? Maybe. What are my other scenes? Let me just save this really quickly. Save scene as scenes raid. Raven, welcome to the stream. How you going? What am I making? I'm really not making much. I'm just like fucking around with Unity. Especially since RPG Maker Unite's coming out soon. So I'm really just, screwing around with Unity, making sure that I still know the engine, and I don't because I can't get a fucking button to work. Let me just load my build settings. Add open scenes, build raid, that's done. Main camera, so now I need to create a canvas. Where do I create the canvas? Why am I so bad at this? There it is. Create the canvas. Move the camera. Move it up a bit. There's probably a much better way to be doing what I'm doing. I'm just not doing it. And scenes, I need art, template, background, BG raid. Raise the size out of that. Camera, so that's showing. Is it showing? Yes, it's showing. So now, let's save that. Go back to my home screen. Canvas buttons, PvP should take me to. Where is the? I haven't. All right, so I will. Canvas, no. I will create a new on-click, run my canvas through it, scene change integer to 3, and save. Now, what this should allow me to do is, that swaps me to that screen. It swaps me to my raid screen. Screen. English is not a strong point, Liam. Now I want to test something because I think I've just created my PvE screen incorrectly. What I think I need to do is not create it as an empty, but create it as a 2D working space. Unity is scary to you. You get used to it. Really, like, the good thing about Unity is if you want, you can, like, pop all of this sort of stuff out and move it around. Like, I can move it onto my second monitor if I wanted to. So if you've got, like, 3 screens, I'm planning to get 3 screens. I want 6, right? I want fucking bam, 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 bam. But I'm going to need to get, like, another graphics card to be able to handle fucking 6 monitors. So... but the good thing about it is you can just have all your different shit that you need on different screens, and instead of having to navigate through menus all the time, you can just be like, yep, drag this over here, yep, drag that over there, and it's all good. So that's why I really like Unity. It's more of a professional engine. Is it good for beginners? You're more of an artist than a coder. I mean, it depends, right? So Unity allows you a lot more freedom, but with that freedom comes you're going to have to code, right? Now, you don't necessarily need to learn to code. There's plenty of tutorials on YouTube. There's probably shit all over Stack Overflow and on Unity forums about how to code specific things. Coding isn't the scariest beast of them all. What I'll do, if you're still here, I'll show you a button, right? Buttons have been the bane of my fucking existence for the last 20 minutes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap over to my raid scene. And I'll show you the script I've got, right? It's not a super scary script. All it is when I activate this script, change the scene to the scene ID I select, right? That's all it is. Now over here, what I need to do is I need to make a button, right? Because these are all this is like a template background. So all I need to do is right-click Canvas, go to UI, and create a button text mesh pro. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this button over here, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my script here, drag it into the canvas. Then on the right-hand side of things, you're going to see an on-click. So that essentially just means whenever I'm clicking the button, right? So I'm going to add a function and drag the canvas in because the canvas has the script in it. Now, when I click, I want to use my scene change script. I'm going to move to scene by integer. And this is a back button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at my build settings. I want to go back to the PvE scene, which is integer 2. So all I need to do here is write integer 2. I want to change. I'm currently on scene 3. I want to change to scene 2. So that's how that works. So now if I run this, any bet it's going to fucking fail, right? There we go. So that's it's as simple as that. So if I run it, let's go all the way back to the very start of all my scenes. So I've got home, right? This is my wonderful, beautiful game right here. This is my home screen, and now I'm going to go over to PvE. Cool, what do I want to do? I haven't actually made that button yet. But if I was to click here, it would then take me over to this screen here. And then say I didn't want to be in this screen anymore, I would just click the back button, and it would take me back to this screen over here. Now, I actually need to redo this scene because I fucked up. Well, actually, hold on. Do I even need to redo this? Event system, right? What is this? Literally nothing. What I'm going to do, can I copy this over to my PvE scene? It's already on my PvE scene. So is this going to be a mobile game? I'm trying to explore making a mobile game. So if we just go back over to my UI concepts, I'm essentially trying to make a game where you can either play story mode, PvE, PvP, all that sort of shit. But if you click chapters, you can over here, you can cycle through different characters and play their different stories. Or if you want to do player versus environment, you can either select a team and face off against waves of enemies, or you can enter a raid with other players. So let's say you want to play a healer, you can select healer and it'll match you with like a tank and a DPS and all that sort of shit, and you can fight monsters together. Or you can do PvP where you build a team and you fight your team against other players. So I'm just trying to get the foundation working in Unity, and that foundation is the buttons. So if where is it? Yes, I'll save that. PvE, raid, no, chapters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this button, copy it, I'm going to go into PvE, paste it in the canvas, put my script in the canvas, which for some reason it didn't show up, put my script in the canvas, then on click, put my canvas in the button. I'm going to scene change to 0. And play. And that should... There we go. So I've essentially got like foundational UI working. So I can, let's say, I want to do story mode. All right, so you come over here and then you can cycle through the different characters. Let's say you don't want to do story mode anymore. All right, I'm going to hit back. I want to do some PvE. Come into here. Now I'm going to make the button for this over here, which is to go into a raid. So I'll do that now. I will make a new button. This button I'm just going to rename. So button _back. It's always good to have like a naming convention. So like you'll see if I go over to my my home scene, all my buttons on the left hand side here, I've got button _ chapters, button _ PvP, button _ PvE. All of that is just so if I'm searching for something that I know is a button, I can scroll through and be like, all right, those are all the buttons. It's just so you don't have a file name called best button, next best button, final, button for the next screen. You just have a naming convention, so it's easy to find your shit. So now if I go back over to the PvE, I'm going to want another button. So if you have an idea for a game, what should your first steps be? Not what I'm doing right fucking now. I'm playing with Unity just because I'm playing with Unity. I've got like a week or two off work, so I'm just experimenting around. And then when Unite comes out, I want to make sure like RPG Maker Unite, when that comes out, I want to refresh my memory of the Unity interface so I can provide proper tutorials for all my viewers. But what I'd say is, if you have an idea for a game, what should your first steps be? You should do two things, right? So I've got some... give me a sec. I've got some, like, data which I can't share on stream. Alright, so what I've got here is a technical design document. How this works is I've gone through and at the moment, like this is still incomplete. All of these should be working documents. But I've gone through and I've identified the gameplay loops, right? So whether your game is a story game or whether it's like whatever, you're still going to have a gameplay loop, a cycle that the player goes through. So let's say you're making a visual novel, right? Let me just open this up on Photoshop. So if you're making a visual novel, you're going to have a loop, right? And your loop's going to look something like this. Why is that not working? Your loop's going to look something like this. And so if you're making a visual novel, your first loop might be a conversation. Conversation. And that's the first part of the gameplay loop. You talk to a potential love interest or something like that. The next part of the gameplay loop might be free time, right? And so what that means is this is where you're having conversations with all of your waifus and you're trying to win them over and say the right thing. But sometimes your waifus might not like you if you're not strong enough or if you're not smart enough or you don't have a taste for music. So in your free time, after school or after work, you can go to concerts to increase your music knowledge, or you can go to the gym to increase your fitness. So that's your sort of free time there. And then your next gameplay loop might be phone call, right? So you've really got two chances to increase your potential love interest in you, right? You converse with them at work or school or wherever this takes place. You increase your character's abilities, and then if you've got like 3 different girls' phone numbers, you have to choose one of them to call. And so that's a sort of loop, and then that goes back to the beginning. The next day you have a conversation, you have some free time, you jump on the phone. The next day you have a conversation, you have some free time, and you jump on the phone. So that was a very long, convoluted way of explaining what I'm trying to explain. But essentially what that means is what I've got here is you figure out what your gameplay loops are, right? So this is a Crookbank technical design document. So one of the gameplay loops I would have in this is hero collection. So the player is able to obtain heroes that they can employ on their team. This can be done in 3 ways: by purchasing a character using premium currency, by purchasing characters using non-premium currency, or by unlocking them in the story mode. And part of hero collection is the heroes can be upgraded. So what's the gameplay loop for hero upgrading going to look like? Well, the heroes can be upgraded using equipment, or by gaining experience points, or by using skill points and allocating them within a skill tree. So before jumping into any sort of engine and trying to make a game, like I've got a great idea for a game, I'm just going to start making it, you should identify what's going to make your game actually fun. Because if you don't know what's going to make your game fun, you've just got an idea like, oh, airship battles with dragons and goddess waifus, right? You don't really have a gameplay loop. You don't really have a game. You've just got an idea. So the first thing you should do is translate your idea into a game before you even touch an engine or anything like that. And so that's by coming up with gameplay loops. And so you do this with every aspect of your game. So like, all right, I've got heroes that I can collect and upgrade. I can upgrade them with gear. So what does the gameplay loop look like for gear collection? Well, I can purchase it, I can have it dropped from enemies, I can craft it from materials, and you go over the whole process of that gameplay loop. Then character stories will have a loop, raids will have a loop, all that sort of stuff. But essentially, put your game together, even in like a mind map. Like whether it's a mind map or whether it's like... one thing I did here is like I'm doing some UI concepting. So what that means is like, how is it going to look, right? How are players going to be able to navigate through my game? Before I even write any story, before I even touch like mechanics or anything like that. And when it gets to mechanics such as battles, you're going to need to make a gameplay loop for that as well. How do my battles work? How do my skills work? All of that sort of stuff. Do all of that before touching an engine. Because if you just jump into the engine, I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, you're just going to drop it. Like, I'm probably going to drop this. I hope I don't, because I think I've got a cool idea. But you really need to do all the design work behind it. Otherwise, because game development, it doesn't take a month. It doesn't take 3 months. And it rarely takes 6 months. Game development, you're looking at a development cycle of sometimes 1 to 2 years, sometimes even longer than that. So if you don't have something like a technical design document or a game design document that you can fall back on and refer to, your design's constantly going to be iterated away from the foundation to the point where it doesn't even resemble what it was supposed to look like in the beginning. So this was a really long way of me explaining this. But the first thing you should do, your first steps, is get it on paper. Write it down what your ideas are. Don't start writing the story. Write the ideas. Even when writing a story, right? the first thing you want to do is build the foundation of a story. So you don't go, chapter 1, in a land of blah, 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 our hero woke up. What you do is you do an executive summary. So you go, hero wakes up, monster attacks town, hero runs off to get the Sword of Light, hero meets the big bad guy steals the Sword of Light. You run through a summary of how your story is going to play out, and then you can start writing your scenes. You don't just write as you go. You need a foundation to build upon. Otherwise, that's when you get into scope creep, like halfway through your development, you'll be like, blah, 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 blah. You know what would be really cool? If I could have a dragon pet system. And then you start implementing a dragon pet system. And after you do that, you get back onto your main game, and then you're like, oh, what if my dragons could transform into weapons? And then you start implementing that system. Get your core shit down first, and then do the other stuff. So, sorry, that was a really long-winded... a very long-winded way of trying to say what I was trying to say. But, yeah. That should be your first steps. Don't feel bad about asking questions. I mean, again, this is a chill stream, but... yeah, I don't really care. Like, you can ask questions, that's fine. I'm not going to sit there and be like, how dare you? How dare you ask me questions? That is illegal, good sir. I should really have, like, water instead of Pepsi when I'm streaming. Anyway, back to it. I was going to implement a button. So let's let's get back onto that. UI button. And I will call this button underscore raid. Get the text out of there first. Bring that text back in. Actually, I don't need the text. The text can fuck off. Button raid. There should be a transparency feature here somewhere. Why is there not... yeah. Let's just make it, sort of like orange. And then... I can probably reduce that a bit. And then I will need to... what scene is the raid? Build settings. Raid is scene 3. So I need to create a new on-click, drag my canvas into the on-click, new function, scene change, move to scene, integer 3. Now... right, blah, 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 blah. I want to play a video game. PvE. Ugh, yuck, yuck, ugh. Oh, that still says button instead of back. Oh. I don't know why PvP is leading to that. Oh, it's because I don't have a PvP screen, do I? No, I've just got this. Alright. Let's fuck all the pausing. Chapters, save, home, PvE, raid. What am I doing? PvE? No, I'm doing raid, and I'm changing this. Change the text first. And then I think I just need to do a bit more design. It'd be good if I could figure out how to do the swipey swipe, but... recommend that I use a stream bitrate of 4500. I should be streaming at a bitrate of 4500. No, I'm not. Alright, now it should come across that I'm streaming at 4500. If it actually saved my settings. We'll see. We'll see if it saved my settings. It probably didn't. So that's the raid. So then I need to show UI once I click on something. Or once I click on waves, I need it to show UI. That's alright. I think I can probably just... probably just make all the other scenes. So I need settings, crew, tavern, guild, shop. So let me just make all those other scenes. Save as. Settings. New scene. Save as. Crew. New scene. Save scene as tavern. What other scenes did I need? I needed guild and shop. And PvP. New scene and save as PvP. If I look at my build order, PvP, now if we go left to right, settings, crew, I believe it was then tavern, guild, shop. And so that's what it would build. If we just go back to home, that's that. Oh, I also need profile as a scene. For now. I'll need to make more scenes later, but... And then to my in profile, yep, so I'll just add that to build order. I need to install whatever that is. Alright, we've got some terms and conditions to read. I'm joking. That'll take however long that takes. Never would have thought to build the layout before actually building, making the assets. Yeah, you got to build the foundations before you do anything else. Like that's why I've, like that's why I've got, right? Like, you know, just these like concepts. Like these are all copyrighted images, right? I don't own any of this shit. I just made like the UI and shit. And even when I'm jumping into Unity, I'm not making like fully fledged buttons. I'm making this like purple crap. Just like, you know. That's my PvE. That's my raid. Not go back. Yeah, go back. No, go back even further. I want to see my characters. Yeah, they're my characters. No, go back. PvP for some reason goes to the wrong place, but... yeah. How's my Unity download going? God. It's taking ages. Anyways, I've done really all that I set out to do today, which was just to get a basic version of my UI built. Because I don't have any other UI designed yet, there's not much else I can do. I just wanted to get some buttons in place and working. I mean, the only other thing I really could do is build those buttons down there. So I guess I'll do that while Unity downloads. So let's see, let's build another button. Just to get it out of the way. Like, it's not going to add anything. Why can't... Oh, that's why. Add a button. Actually, I'm just going to copy the PvE button. Rename that. What was that one? It was settings. Settings, let me just change the size. Let's change that to like 20, maybe lower, like 15. Give it a bold. Yeah, maybe reduce the size of the button. And then I'll get rid of... I'll get rid of the on-click. Let's make it no function. Probably make that even smaller, to be honest. Then copy and paste it. Move it across. Instead of settings, it's crew. Reflect that in the text. Copy that across. Make that tavern. Copy that across, make that guild. Just really to get the buttons built, even though they don't do anything. Change that to a capital S because that'll shit me until I do. Yeah, good. These buttons do nothing, but they exist. PvE. I want to do a raid. I want to do Warehouse 8. No, I don't. I want to go back. I don't want to do any of this. I want to look at my characters. Yeah. No, I don't. I want to go back. So that's that install complete. So I should be able to look at my build settings for Android, install it. Visual Studio Community. I don't get that. I don't understand that at all. Yeah, but can I install a new thing? No, probably not. Switch platform. Am I switching the platform to the Android? Or did I just fuck up my entire game? No, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Let's see. Oofed. Alright, so that's something in my code. Alright, let's try and just build it back to Windows. Let's go back and see if I haven't fucked up my entire project. There we go. So I'm gonna have to figure out this works on PC. I'm gonna have to change some code as to why it doesn't work on Android. I thought I did do that though. Can I not? I mean, yeah, that should work. I've got it installed, but it's saying I don't have it installed. Installs. Yeah, I got no idea. Anyway, yeah, that's really all I was going to cover today. I was just trying to get the basics of my UI working. So I've pretty much done that. I had this UI concepted out so that, you know, you could click a bunch of buttons and go to a bunch of different places. Obviously, I've got more UI that I need to nut out. But I'm happy with how it is so far. I'm moving between different scenes. That's what I wanted. So I'm going to call that one there. Hopefully RPG Maker Unite comes out soon. because I'd love to be able to do some tutorials on that for you when it comes out. I think, yeah, they've just updated their Steam page. Not their Steam page. If you go to the RPG Maker Unite website, it was supposed to come out on the 6th of April. Actually, I'll just read that really quickly before I go. So if we go to RPG Maker Unite official, I'm just going to make sure I don't share anything from my own work that I'm not supposed to. It says, yeah, this was announced 3 days ago. So, where is it? RPG Maker Unite, our latest RPG Maker title in development, originally slated for launch on the 6th of April, will be temporarily postponed until further notice. It's a necessary step to further improve the product's quality and stability. We would like to express our sincerest apologies for another delay and the inconvenience this causes to the fans looking forward to using RPG Maker Unite to make new games, but we firmly believe this is the most beneficial course of action. So it's... if I just look at the assets store, it's not out yet. Also, keep in mind, this is Australian dollars. I'm not sure what the American dollar equivalent would be. I think it's Australian dollars. But essentially, yeah, it's been delayed. We don't know when it's going to be released. But it shouldn't be too long, hopefully. As I said, I would like to build some tutorials for you. So, anyway, what I am going to do is... there's a bit of a delay between my stream and me. So I'm just going to fade out the stream, let the music play a bit, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.